We are back talking about common hitting flaws amongst amateur hitters. We're still focusing on the first move or our gather. Today we're going to talk about back foot instability. Back foot instability occurs when a hitter gets towards his toes in his gather and loses the ability to balance on one leg and maintain a stable base. Most back foot instability is caused by players being quad dominant, similar to what we talked about in the last video, and often occurs in hitters with an open stance as they try and get back to neutral. The hitter's goal is to create 3 points of contact with the foot and the ground during the gather phase in order to promote stability and balance. Those 3 points of contact we want to have in the middle part of that foot. Basically, we're trying to avoid being on our heels as a hitter, but also trying to avoid being on our toes, which is a common place for athletes to be when they're amateurs. So it's important that we make sure hitters understand. We want the middle of the foot to maintain contact with the ground. We can see in this hitter the shadow underneath the front part of his foot and also the back foot, which is an indication that he's on the back part of his foot and also a little bit towards his toes. Characteristics of instability, and you're going to watch Mookie Betts on the right here, who has an incredibly stable move with his back foot. If you watch his back foot a couple of times through here, characteristics of instability, we see hitters with their weight shifting towards their toes. Again, their weight loaded into their quads, which takes away space, and a good indication for parents or players flipping the baseball right at their player. You're going to see that back knee start to move towards the plate when hitters are getting towards their toes and losing stability. Common results we see with instability, a lot of guys are going to get jammed on fastballs on the inner half. Getting on your toes and losing space towards the plate will cause a lot of that. Pulling the ball with good spin will be difficult. Again, this causes a lot of players to lose space and they compensate by over rotating and spinning to create that space, which does not allow us to drive the baseball to the pull side. And this is going to create a lot of difficulty with off-speed pitches, as that back foot will create some off balance moves with the hitter, and it makes it difficult to adjust to some slower pitching. Common compensations we see with sway. Again, the biggest one we see is that it causes players to lose space and short their pelvis drifts towards the plate, which makes it more difficult for them to move the barrel along the pitch line. The point of contact will sometimes be excessively out in front as a compensation for no space. And again, we see a lot of hitters that will spin open with their front side in order to create some sort of space that's been taken away by a lack of stability. On our video evaluation, this one's a little trickier to see. We look at the back foot, and again, we're looking for a little bit of a shadow under that back heel, some weight towards the toes, and a lot of times the hitter will also have that back foot with some weight on the outside of it. Again, this hitter starts in an open stance, so as he tries to get back to neutral, he has the tendency to drift slightly towards his toes. If you look at the hitter on the right here, this is a good example of a guy who's created good coil, so he passes the video eval test that we had in the last video. Okay. But also you can see that his foot is relatively flat in the ground here, which creates a really stable base for him to move forward off of while maintaining some connection with the ground. Corrective drills for sway. We like this new one. We do step behinds. This will allow the player to feel the coil into the back hip and back hamstring while also not allowing them to drift towards the plate by getting into their toes. That step behind move will lead them more to the middle or back of their foot. We will also do step into as a drill to challenge hitters that we're working on this with. A lot of hitters, if they do the step into drill and they get towards their toes, they're going to lose space immediately. So this is a good drill to challenge the hitter once you feel like you've made some strides towards him, creating more stability. And again, we like hook'ems for a lot of these drills because it allows the player to have that feeling of what it's like to have the back foot maintain contact with the ground throughout the stride phase. That is video number 2 for everybody. Our last drill, our last video for the lower half will have to do with staying connected to the front leg. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you.